You know, Rob, I cut my teeth in IT right really when the cloud was getting started. And one of the things I remember the most from that is everyone kind of figuring out that there was a shared responsibility model. With Microsoft 365, why does it feel like we're still relearning those lessons when it comes to something so fundamental?
I really appreciate you starting off by talking about the cloud transition, right? We were not in the cloud and then we were in the cloud, and it sort of seems as though we went through a single transition. But the truth is, things have been changing a lot since then. The stakes have changed, the scale has changed. And so, it's every single day, it seems Microsoft either releases a new app, rebrands an existing app, or moves menus around different apps to different places. So you speak to anyone who's involved in this environment, they feel like they're learning every single day and having to adapt.
What is the particular challenge here?
The really big thing is actually the number of configurations, because when this service first started, you maybe had 100 different dials that you had to twist to make it work for you. There's now over 10,000 unique configuration elements in a Microsoft tenant, each of which can have variations. So when I describe a configuration element, one of those might be an identity with a bunch of sub-configurations. But if you're an organization with 10,000 identities, then that's 10,000 of each of that single configuration. So you can imagine 10,000 quickly can become 100,000, it can become a lot more. And each of those is set up by organizations to balance two things. And every organization is different with this. How do I keep as much out as possible whilst also enabling collaboration, because the environment was designed for collaboration. So those configurations aren't just annoying to remember what they were. It's not just that you might forget what they were and have to redo them at some point. It's that if somebody changes them, or if somehow you lose access to all of them or you have to start again, that's basically your security posture. So one of the huge issues that we've seen in the field, when the rubber hits the road, right? For example, many organizations we speak to have lost access to their tenants. They've been locked out. Someone changed the conditional access policies, kicked everyone out. And they're thinking, thank goodness we spent the last 10 years backing up all of our stuff. This isn't great, but here we go. Let's roll out the plan. And then they realize we've only been backing up our data, not the configurations. And the analogy that we like to use here at CoreView is to think about your Microsoft environment like a glass of water. If I take your glass and I throw the water on the floor, you're going to say, Rob, that's pretty annoying, but don't worry, I've got more water. If I take your glass and I smash it and the water pours out, well, it's great that you've got more water, but are you able to replace the glass? And this is the challenge organizations face at the moment, is you get into this really tough situation. You've got all the water in the world, but you don't have a second glass. You don't have a way to immediately reconfigure those hundreds of thousands of configurations that your team has been fine-tuning for years. So we really go around banging the drum, encouraging people to say, look, is it time to redefine how you define backup? And guess what? Earlier this year, Gartner said, yes, it is. And so they actually released a piece of research where they basically said from now on, backup needs to include the application configurations so that you can restore the whole thing, especially for tier 1 applications.
If people want to have more of a conversation about this with CoreView, where can they go to find out more?
You can contact us through the website. Is probably the easiest way. Just go to coreview.com. There's all sorts of ways to reach out there. We can even do things like security briefings. Here are the trends that we're seeing. Without naming any names, here are some of the shocking things that we're seeing in general. And, are you seeing similar things, or are you aware of these? And that's an enormously productive way to have a conversation, and something that we do that people really appreciate. So, we're always open to talking to people and sharing what we've learned.
We cover a lot of stuff in the CISO series. This is one aspect that I don't think we talk about enough. The realities, the actual process of recovery and resilience in this particular case when it comes to that kind of tenant configuration, backing up that specific data. I absolutely love it. Rob, thank you so much for your time.